All right, and I think we are live. And hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Human Perimeter podcast, episode 4, Why You Click. In the last episode, I'm sorry I was not available, and André have done the tough work thinking like me from my other side. And I think he done a pretty good job. And thank you, André, for stopping by. I got some issues.
Oh, you're welcome. It was fun, except that I forgot my YubiKeys. So I promised that I will present the YubiKeys. This is my key ring, and it has two YubiKeys on it. One with a USB-C and one with a USB-A. This is the one I wanted to show you. It's I usually wear it always with me, except last time because there was an
Mar-
accident where I where I lost them one stage lower. So it
it's
did not
called
want to leave.
it's called the Murphy law, I think.
Yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes it creates some sort of urgency. And I needed to do because we do this live each time at 6 o'clock, and I didn't have the time to pick up the YubiKeys, and I didn't check beforehand, so it got this urgency that I needed to go live, and I forgot them.
Yep. And I was also checking if we received some questions from the last episode, but we did not receive anything yet. And also, if you notice on the website, I changed it that you can also put questions on Reddit about the episode, but somehow I don't know how Reddit works. But when I opened the community to public, the human perimeter community, my account was shadow banned and I appealed, but I don't know how that goes. So that's the mystery way how Reddit is working. So unfortunately, I don't know. I try to figure it out, some community or something where you can ask us questions, where it can be like nice discussion or something like that. But yeah, it is what it is. Reddit clearly don't like it. I don't know why or why. So we will figure something out. But in the meantime, if you have any questions from the old past episodes, you can either leave comments down below or you can send us an email, which you can find on the website.
Yeah. Whereas down below means wherever you hear us.
Yeah.
So if you just listen to the audio version on Spotify, you can leave comments there as well. If you're watching us or listening to us on YouTube, of course, you can add to the YouTube stream the comments, or you just drop us a line via email or on LinkedIn. I think we have the LinkedIn addresses also on the website, which is human-perimeter.com.
Yeah. Anyway, we have intro, and now let's talk about today's episode, which is really fun for me. I like this episode so much. And it is called Why You Click. So, the link looks strange, and you click it anyway. Why? Why you think it looks bad and you click it anyway? So we try to break down this kind of. I don't know if it's. Yeah, we try to break it down for you, and we try to figure it out why you clicked it anyway. So you know that social engineering does not target your intelligence first. It targets the moment around it: pressure, trust, fear, curiosity, fatigue, and routine. Imagine this: you are at work and your team leader or your boss tell you you need to do this within 30 minutes and don't something like that, right? And you receive email calling for urgency, and you're just focusing on your task, but in the meantime you click the link, and that's all what it needs to get the disaster happened. So yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
As easy as that.
Yeah, but we need to more we need to think more deeper why. And I think you are the best man for this to answer this why.
Oh, I'm not quite sure if I'm the best, but Sometimes I think about what does it take to make someone click, and sometimes I try to click, although I know I shouldn't click, um, and that then becomes a bit tricky if I try to figure out how these spams or scams are working. I know that I need to check out the link without clicking it. So that's a bit tricky. So I think about a lot about how to do this, how to figure out, how to analyze this.
Easy solution.
But I think we need to check it from a psychological perspective.
Yeah.
And one thing is the short term, what you just mentioned, the urgency. If we're working in an office, if you're working in a strict hierarchy, especially if you're employed in I know that from enterprises, um, there are there are monthly reports, quarterly reports, or just urgent presentations that need to be changed 10 minutes before the meeting.
Yeah.
And then the boss comes in and says, "You just need to change some things on the slides because you need them in 10 minutes."
Yeah.
And this creates, from my perspective, an unnecessary urgency. And so that is the short term. And sometimes we also have the long term from what we learned. So, what we have learned when we were children, when we were at school, when we worked at different employers, that is all long term. So, short term usually covers a time frame of some hours, and long term covers days, weeks, years, even decades. So, what we have learned in the past. And that can be, to make it more vivid, um, how we and our bosses reacted in similar situations in the past,
Yeah.
because that's what we learn. If we were told that everything is urgent and we must do it, and it's better to do it now rather than later, um, and we know that we are being punished if we delay it. That is something they learn, and that's also something that contributes to the issue why we click. And the third, is it the third perimeter? Can we call it a perimeter? The third category or um, axis or perimeter, however you want to call it, is the personalization. If there is something that seems to be made for us, and scammers, phishing folks, and spammers know all these tricks, and they get better and better. And with AI,
Yep.
they can use AI also to personalize these so that people who are already under pressure
Exactly.
um, and get a personalized email, the probability that they will click onto this link or onto this attachment is pretty high. That's basically how it works.
Yeah, and as you said, it is targeted for busy people working usually under pressure, under deadline. You know, and this is where the most security fails when it expects full attention all day, basically.
Yeah, I realize some situations. I mean, I receive a lot of spam. So I seem to be a spam magnet. Um, and sometimes I receive spam campaigns. And that means I get a lot of similar email messages at a very short time frame. So
Yep.
that can be within half an hour, I get 10 to 20 similar emails, all with similar content, all personalized to me. And there was one thing I think that was quite tricky, because if we talk about personalization, can I talk about this example?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
Okay.
course. Yeah, definitely go ahead.
There was one I called the police for, and actually, because I received an email that says that it was addressed to me. It was addressed to my email. My email was named in that one. I was talked directly with my name. And there was someone who pretended that they had hacked my I don't know which account, a lot of accounts. And to have proof, they showed my password. And the problem was that was actually my password.
Huh.
That was quite tricky. And I got quite nervous. It's already very old. And so I called the police and the cybersecurity division of the local police. And they said, well, that's interesting. Just send us all your details. And I said, what do you mean with all my details? It's just an email. I don't know where they got the password from. And so they haven't been that much helpful. So I started my own investigation. And I figured out that someone hacked not my account, but a different account. And I'm not quite sure what it was. I think it was Facebook. Facebook has been hacked. If you look at have I been pawned,
Yeah.
then you and enter your email address, then you can figure out which accounts have been hacked where your data was included or your email address has been included.
Yeah.
And mine was Facebook at the time. So they got my phone number. That is the reason why I still get calls where some folks try to sell me cryptocurrency. And I receive a lot of emails. And my password was precisely the same at that time. And I just said that sometimes I receive a lot of those emails, and 1 or 2 days later, I received another email, again with the same password for a different account. But because I got the first email, I already changed my passwords. So that password was an old one at that time.
Yep.
And that was then the point when I realized this is just a scam. So I should. There was the threat in that email. It was urgent. It was made urgent because I had 24 hours time to send them bitcoins because bitcoins cannot be tracked. And if I don't do that, they would publish some. It must be artificially images from myself in some compromising situations, whatever
Yep.
that means. And that was a threat. So it created this urgency. It was very personalized. And I didn't know that from the past. So it was quite new. And that was the reason why I called the police. But meanwhile, I still receive them. And meanwhile, I'm quite relaxed because most of the passwords are old. They are still using the passwords from the Facebook hack. And meanwhile, I have replaced all those passwords with pass keys. So
Great.
even if they get them or get the credentials, they can't get in because it's a passkey which is pretty secure in my passkey manager.
But passkeys
But
are
now,
but passkeys are not secure as everyone thinks because there are two types of passkeys: hardware
ah,
passkey or
okay.
synced passkey, one account across all of your passkeys, right? iCloud, iChain, Bitwarden, Password Manager, Google, Google accounts. So that means if anyone get access to your main account, like iCloud, they got all of your passkeys.
Do you mean if they get access to my
Yeah.
password manager?
Or iCloud, or yeah, because there are two type of passkeys. You can store them on YubiKey, or you can store them in your phone, in your cloud provider. Those are synced passkeys. That means they work on all devices everywhere where you log
Oh,
in.
that's interesting. So that's good that we talk about that
Yeah.
because I was doing a NIS2 assessment last week.
Nice,
Huh?
nice. It's good fun.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm not obliged to do it, but oh, well, since we have the HumanPerimeter podcast and I'm interested in cybersecurity, I just did one.
And how it went?
It went pretty well. So it's just an assessment. It's
Yeah.
nothing where some test at the end means that I passed or did not pass. I just created all the documents and just checked everything what I got. And there was one thing left, and that was I should protect my Cloudflare account. with a hardware token, i.e.
Yep.
the YubiKey.
Yep.
And I wanted to do that this morning. And if you go to the Cloudflare settings, then I already have the multi-factor authentication there, but not a hardware key.
Yep.
So I went to my account, and there's a section where you can add a hardware key. So I clicked on Add Hardware Key, and it asked me to save the passkey. That was quite interesting. It's
Yeah,
quickly.
this passkey, yeah, but stored
Yeah,
in hardware key.
but no, it's not in the hardware key. It's in my password manager, because the password manager automatically stores also the passkeys.
Not automatically. When you open it, it opens the window, right? And
Yep.
then it will ask you, you want this to overwrite just once or all the time? You can choose if you want to store in Bitwarden or choose other devices.
Yeah, but I usually store everything in one password. So I use
Yeah.
one password. But I wanted the hardware key to unlock
Yeah.
the account, not the passkey. So it was quite tricky, because it doesn't always work on any machine, because I tried it first on my iPad. And even if this is a USB-C YubiKey, it doesn't work on the iPad.
Yeah.
So I cannot add the YubiKey on an iPad. And
Anyway, I
when
think
I
this should.
came back to the office and had my computer here, I had different things to do, so
Yeah.
it's still not added.
And one thing I said that also the hardware tokens have limits. For example, the latest YubiKey, I think you can only store 50 passkeys or something like that.
No, it's not the passkey itself which is stored on the YubiKey. It is the YubiKey added to the Cloudflare account.
But you will store the signature as an item in YubiKey. When you open YubiKey CLI, you can list all the IDs and all the items.
Yeah.
There's limit 50.
Yeah, and one is, I just used one for Cloudflare. I wanted to use one for Cloudflare. But it's not always that easy, even if it's just a hardware key which you plug into your computer. In the past, it was already working. But since I now intercept all those keys with one password, it prefers to create a passkey instead using a hardware key.
Yeah,
So that's interesting.
But you can override the behavior of one password. Anyway, we need to go back to topic why you click and not talking about the passkeys. It can be episode alone.
I digressed. I'm sorry.
Yes, no worries. I always love to talk about those kind of things. So
I know.
Anyway, so let's get back to a question why you click. So one also other good factor, speaking of password managers, we go back to password manager, is that some password managers, they store your login, but the domain is not like specific, and it can be like regex matched or something like that. That means if the domain is wrong and the password manager will not autofill, right? But if the password manager store the domain in the wrong methodology, then it can autofill your login details even on the similar domain. Like example, google.com with 2O. But if you go to Google with 3O, some password managers can autofill it because they think, oh, it's Google. But in these password managers, you need to explicitly set how you want your domain matching to be. And I usually recommend going with exact, word by word, or the host matching, which is the most secure way. Have you come into this experience with this, André?
No, not yet.
Good.
Yeah. I think maybe once. No, that was just a legit situation where the provider changed the domain. I think at first I needed to sign on the main domain on a subdirectory. So I was domain.com/login. and they changed that later to a dedicated subdomain, and that was login.domain.com.
Yeah.
And the password manager refuses to fill in the password. And I said, but I have a password. I didn't realize that they changed the login.
Yeah.
So I reset the password, and then I wanted to add the new password to my password manager. And then the password manager says, oh, for that provider, we already have a password. And then I realized, okay, that's a different domain. They changed the domain, but that was legit. That was totally okay, but they never told someone.
Exactly, and that also many people can do it themselves. They don't see the login from password manager, but they go find it and fill it either way.
Yeah, but there is something which is, I just need to look that up. I was reading an pretty interesting article where someone told me that they can provide me a domain and I wouldn't recognize that it's the wrong domain. That was interesting. And he showed me, it was an article, not me, it was publicly available. And he showed 3 different domains. And I said, the first one, I would realize that. But the second and the third one, I didn't.
Yeah.
And I thought, why is that now a different domain? It looks precisely as the same domain, and it's a so-called homoglyph attack.
Yep.
That is something that even if you're conscious and even if you're not under stress and you check if the domain is right, you might click on that domain because it looks totally valid, even if
Exactly.
it's not. Let me try to see if I can quickly look that up.
And there's easy also solution for those kind of domain spoofing but yeah, it's not for everyone. Not everyone can deploy their own DNS with filtering and all the filters. But still, this is really great and simple solution on how you can protect your network and all of your devices. If you don't want to spin up your own server with the DNS server, there is also good provider called nextdns.io. You can use it for free, you can use it for personal use or for business, and it is really straightforward. First, it encrypts all of your traffic with DNS over HTTPS. Secondly, it provides DNS level ad block, and also there are some security rules like DNS domain hijacking, blocking most abused TLDs, 30-day domain block list. So if the domain is new, it you won't be able to access it, etc., etc. Feel free to check it out. I will leave description for the next DNS below the podcast where you watching or listening. And if you try it, let us know in the future episode how it goes. And
I found an example.
okay,
Just let me see. Oh, I just need to present it. Save the image. You can keep on talking. I just need a couple of seconds.
okay, no worries. Yeah, and the security has to be easier than doing shortcuts. And if reporting suspicious emails takes 5 steps, people will delete it or ignore it, right? And I know it for myself. Like today, I was giving option to a customer how he wants his API keys, and I give him option. You want the easy way, but know that if something happens, the key has read-write access, or you want to create the API key the hard way. That means you will need to create only API keys that can write, but they cannot delete. And if you want to do the backup cleanup, you will need to create separate API keys to do the read write. So, and most people choose always the easy way, regardless of the security. Do you agree, André?
Yep. Yep. It's convenience. Convenience mostly wins.
But yeah, I like convenience, but I try to make everything secure and convenient. But if this comes with those kind of trade points, me personally, I rather not use that service.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's it's a trade-off for everyone. If you're quite tech savvy, then you usually have less friction creating
Yeah,
more secure systems. If you're not that tech savvy, then it becomes tricky. Like with my YubiKey. So YubiKey
yeah,
adding a couple of years ago was a breeze, and today, since I installed one password, which tries to store each pass key automatically, it gets more tricky. But anyway, I found the image here.
okay.
Let's show this one. And credit where credit is due. This is from Deep Strike. So this is
Deep
the
strike.
idea where I got this from. It's not my image here, right?
Hmm.
And it shows real-world homoglyph attack examples for PayPal. And here for PayPal, it's using ASCII capital I instead of an L. So it's a totally different domain. So it's not PayPal, but it's PayPay with a capital I. It's not
Yeah,
easy to spot if you just look at it. And if you then click on it, then you're on the wrong page, which usually is made up as PayPal. So pretending it's PayPal just to get your credentials. Same with Adobe. It's the Adobe Beta Bot 2017. And Spotify has been tricked 2023. That's interesting. It's using what is that one? A Greek letter. Spotify LSB.
I
Ah,
don't.
I think it's the Y at the end, right? Or it's the O. Spotify, it's the O in between.
I'm also confused a little bit anyway. It's
It's
yeah.
if you so question is how do you get out of a situation where you are 100% sure that the domain is correctly written?
Well, uh, why my camera is not working? Hold on.
Oh,
Hmm.
well, we can hear you.
Okay, I think you need to. 1 second. Interesting. Ah, I found it. Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
back. Uh, how we can protect against those kind of things? Well, there's the solution called the Chasm workspaces, right? And it is basically a virtualized workspace running on some computer in the cloud. And they have extension to your browser where you can right click and you can open this link in one time throwaway Chrome or Firefox container, and then you can verify it is real or not.
Yeah.
But that's not for everyone. I
Yeah.
get it.
But if the site behind it looks precisely as the original one, then it's also difficult. I think the best way is if you talk about PayPal, for instance, if you just open the app on your phone, then you can ensure that this is actually PayPal. So you do not need to click the link, or you can just enter the domain manually. So if
Yeah.
you enter paypal.com, um, if you use that domain regularly, then your browser should already know that domain and do the IntelliSense, the auto completion automatically, right? So that should work. And if your bank asks you, or if you receive an email from your bank and the domain looks totally valid, then you can also type it, not click on it. Because if you click it, then you will be redirected to the wrong one, and it will look precisely the same in the URL bar on your browser. But if you type it, then you can ensure that this is the right domain where you want to go. And then you should pretty quickly realize that that email was a scam.
Yeah, that's also one of the way, but yeah, those homoglyphics attacks and domains, they are serious. And I think in the past I also almost fall a victim because my emails are public, my company emails are in public, and I'm potential target because I'm managing thousands of servers in the cloud. So yeah, I try to get in and get something. So I have I have to be vigilant. But yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about this like 3 or 4 days ago. What would happen if I do something wrong? When I know that I follow, the zero trust principles and etc. etc. And
Yeah, make it a habit.
yeah, and frankly, nothing would happen. Only my personal accounts would be, if somebody got my session cookies from somewhere, but nothing would happen because if that would be case,
Mm.
I can just yeah, possibly
I,
nothing.
yeah, I remember a quote from a very good colleague of mine from the past. It was my second company I was working for, and at that time I was pretty young, and he was already quite experienced. So he gave me one quote, and I still remember it today. And I need to think about it because it's not that easy. It says, "Nothing is so urgent that it wouldn't become even more urgent if we were to put it off for a while." And that always helped me because I still need to think about it, what it should mean in certain situations. And next time someone tells you it is so urgent that you need to do it right now, you should think about this quote. Nothing is so urgent that it wouldn't become even more urgent if you were to put it off for a while.
Exactly. Yeah. And yeah, to wrap this, pardon, I'm getting a little bit ill. And yeah, to wrap this episode, right, we can always talk about things, what to do, and give you the best advice. But I think at the end, it's about you and what's your move, right? Build a 10-second pause rule for anything that touches money, passwords, admin access, customer data, or MFA. And what that means, before you click, you think and ask 5 questions. Did this message create urgency? Did it ask me to use a link, attachment, QR code, phone number inside the message? Did it involve money, credentials, data, or access? Would I feel awkward verifying it? And can I verify it through a channel I already trust? And those are the 5 questions that you can ask yourself as a human being, even if you are in a stress situation. Stop and pause for 10 seconds and think before you click. I think this is the best advice eh, that anyone can give you, right? Because at the end, we are just the humans.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But on the other hand, it's also quite tough to do it if you are in precisely that situation.
I know. I know.
Because if we are stressed, then it's pretty hard to not act stressed, right? So I think even if the advice is totally great, there's no magic formula where you just do everything right.
Yeah.
As I just mentioned earlier, the best way is to build a habit in small steps. So nobody expects you to be always right. So we will make mistakes. But if we, as Simon just said, if we just think before we click each time, and try to answer these 5 questions first, the more we do that, the more it becomes a habit, and the more right our actions become in the future. And I would like to add one more thing, because that's
Okay.
usually my job, being the dumbest person in the room. Because many people are afraid to ask, because they do not want to sound dumb, right?
Yeah.
They are afraid to ask the question, "Are you sure I should click on this link? Is that legit?" It's totally fine to ask that. Because the worst thing that could happen is that someone tells you, yes, it is. You can click on it. It looks pretty fine. Then you just got a second opinion. And you will realize that those questions are not dumb. They are actually quite clever.
Yeah, I can agree on those. And
Always be brave and always be bold and ask the question, even if
don't be
it's
shy.
for the 100th time.
Yeah. Don't be shy. Nobody gonna kill you for asking stupid questions.
Yeah, I do that too all the time.
The problem would be if you click something dangerous and then the consequences can be serious, but not for asking
No,
questions.
I
So,
ask. I
yeah.
always ask those dumb questions. And I made it a habit, actually.
Yeah. And
And
also, like, I'm also training my customers, and every day I receive questions. Can I open this? Can I open this? And they send me screenshots with the links or so. They want to be sure, but they ask me, because I train them. I train them to do it. So it always makes my day. That something that I teach and people follow.
yeah, that's good news.
Even it can get
That's also building a habit.
sometimes annoying, but at the end, I'm really happy.
So why did you click? Because you didn't make thinking a habit.
Yeah.
That's the provocative version.
Yeah, we can do it like that. I agree.
Great. So I think we're done for this session, aren't
Yeah,
we?
it was pretty fast, straight to the point, except 10 minutes talking about passkeys. But yeah,
That's me asking these questions and talking these stories or telling these stories.
I think we can chill about passkeys next episode. What you think?
Yeah, passkeys and YubiKeys. What's the difference? Or if anyone else has another idea what a new fancy thing might be coming up, then just let us know.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can do this next time.
good, good, good. Because I have
That's it.
still other things that I wanted to say in our conversation, but this episode is about why you click, so it needs to wait.
Great. So just check the chat, but nobody here with any questions.
I think
I know some people are sometimes a bit shy. You don't need to be. Just
yeah,
write whatever you want to ask.
I think they think this is something malicious, HumanPerimeter. So that's probably why we don't have audience yet, but we just need to keep working and the people get there. I think.
Yep, I think so too.
All right. So thank you everyone for listening on the old podcast channels and watching on demand on the YouTube channel. And yeah, next episode will be all about the passkey. So if you have some good or bad experience, feel free to give us a question so we can talk about those on the next episode. And yeah, for me is thank you again for listening, and we will see you in a 2
Yep.
weeks time.
For me, the same. Thank you for listening. Thank you for contributing next time with questions. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time again on this channel.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Have a secure time. Until then.
Yeah.